Alright everybody, I promised you last week that we would do an Ask the Vincent questions this week. And I went through and I shot about 20 minutes of footage of me asking myself questions, and I thought that was pretty darn lame. So now I got my lovely assistant, Master Kellyn, to ask questions. You better be careful, because while she is a life weaver, she's also a spiritualist, and you never know what she might summon into your dreams. So you better be nice to her. So we got 6 questions from our fans, and we will go through them. Well, we got more than 6, but I didn't want to make a 45-minute long video, so I cut it down to 6. So go ahead and ask the first question.
All right. Do you have any pets?
I got this one. So
okay. I just got served.
This question came from one of our Facebook stalkers. They apparently been watching my jog blog videos and decided I need a jog blog dog. I guess my videos would be better if there was a puppy in them. Story of my life. So we did used to have a dog. We had him for about 13 years. He lived to about 16, and then he went to the Rainbow Bridge. Through the magic of cinematography, there'll be a picture of him right here. I can't see it, but you can, so you're being blessed more than I am right now. I hope you appreciate what I do for you. But yeah, he was a good puppy, but...
Little Joe.
Little Joe. He was about 65 pounds, small dog. We do have a bird. You've seen him if you watch my Instagram feed. He's got those big bright orange cheeks, so we call him Mr. Freckles. But this one over here, the poor bird's barely 2 years old, and she already wants to rename the poor thing. It's gonna have an identity crisis.
Well, for any of you who play Pokemon Go or are affiliated with Pokemon at all, you would see the resemblance of Mr. Freckles between a Pidgey and Pikachu. And so I would call him Pidgey-Chew.
Poor Freckles. Alright, let's go on to the next question.
Alright. If you could be any animal for a day, what would it be?
Okay. One of the coolest creatures out there is the fastest animal on Earth, the peregrine falcon. I mean, think about this thing. It's a bird. It's not even that big. It's probably like this. Maybe this or this. Something in that ballpark. Like at 220 miles an hour. That makes your cheetah look like he's walking backwards. This bird, what he does, he hangs out on high altitude and he's cruising around like this and he says, "There's a good bird down there. I want to eat that." And he tucks in and he dives and he hits that other bird at 220 miles an hour and cracks its neck. And then he has dinner.
I don't think he'd do the wolf whistle for that.
He might. If it's good food. Now here's the problem with that bird. 220 miles an hour, that's fast as my truck. That's not good. I can't have my truck outrun by a bird. So we need to start a GoFundMe campaign so we can raise money so I can buy a faster truck so no silly bird can outrun me. You got that? GoFundMe, I need a faster truck.
No. No, thank you.
Don't listen to her. Next question.
Alright. How does it feel to be the big brother of such an amazing little sister?
This is where I need those roll eye emoticons.
You'd like his sister.
My sister obviously did not send in that question. Nothing to do with her. She has no idea I have a video. I do have a baby sister, in case you haven't guessed yet. She lives quite a ways far from us, and we only get to see her a few times a year. It's a shame, because we like to get in trouble. And she's pretty funny, and I talked about her last week when I talked about this book and the cover. And I said she made it with like oils or watercolors or something. Well, I talked to her, and she told me how she did it. She used Play-Doh. She made a stamp out of Play-Doh, went stamp, 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 and that's how I got the cover of this book, right? She doesn't believe me. Alright, fine, it was acrylics. I don't know what acrylics are, but she said she used acrylics. So if you're an art person, this cover was done with acrylics. We scanned it, sent it to the printer, and actually, it's a pretty good representation of what it looked like. It's kind of surprising how good it came out. If you got the book I had out for a little while called The First Quartet, which is now discontinued. In the back of that book was a whole bunch more of her sketches. So if you got a copy of that, you should hold on to it because it's probably worth absolutely nothing.
Next question. What 2 items would you bring to a zombie apocalypse?
Okay, this one probably came from my friend Bobby the Zombie. Alright? So, Bobby, the first thing I would bring to this zombie apocalypse is you, because I need an inside man. Or shambling, weird, walking zombie thing, whatever you are. I need you to get in there and give me the plans. That way I can adapt what I do for them. And I'd probably bring, like, I don't know, a teleporter so I could leave. I don't really want any part of a zombie apocalypse. But I'd definitely bring Bobby. If you don't have a Bobby to bring with you, you probably want, like, a flamethrower or a machine gun, you know, something that takes out lots of targets at once. You don't want to...
What's the best way to kill a zombie?
Resurrect it. That
okay.
would be, yeah, resurrect it. Then you can shoot it in the head and it'll die. Next question.
Moving right along. If you could visit one planet, just one planet, and it would only take you a day to get there, and you could walk and breathe on the planet without getting hurt, which planet would you visit, and why?
Okay, this is a really stupid question, because there's only one planet in the solar system with Wi-Fi. So what good is it going to be walking around on Jupiter if I can't take a picture and post it on Facebook? Really, people, think! There's only one planet with Wi-Fi. The only planet I'm going to. What?
Okay. So it would be Earth, and the reason
Wi-Fi.
would be Wi-Fi.
So I could take pictures and post on Instagram.
Okay. Well, how do they do it on the space station?
They're not. That's not a planet. The question
No.
asked about a planet. It didn't ask about being in orbit.
That's true, so... never mind. Okay. Where do you come up with the ideas for your characters in your stories?
I feel like this is the actually only serious question on the list, by the way. So there are 3 types of characters in a book. It doesn't really matter who's writing the book. There's three types of characters. You have what we call the tertiary characters. These are essentially cardboard cutouts. They're lamps. So if your character walks into a hotel and needs to check into a room, he has to interact with somebody. That person doesn't even often get a name. It's just the clerk, or the operator, or the science officer. They get like 2 lines and that's it, you never see them again. So, they're props, they're not really real people. Okay? I hope that doesn't hurt your feelings, but they're not real. Above them, you have the secondary characters. So you have tertiary, secondary. It's a big vocabulary lesson for you. Those are archetypes. If you remember the character Craig, he is a paladin archetype. I can just reach into a closet, pull out an archetype, and drop them in. Archetypes have a specific set of traits already in place, and I don't have to have any backstory or develop them or anything like that. He's a paladin archetype. This is what paladins do, so that's what he does. And then he can play his minor role and move on. The primary characters, this is your Spectra, your Dusty, they all start with an idea as opposed to with a type or a job. And a good example of this is the short story The Faceless Ones I made, which you can get for free if you sign up for my newsletter. Hint, hint. That story started off with a man walks into a restaurant. That was the idea that started the story. Then the next question I asked is, well, why did he walk into the restaurant? It turned out it was his birthday. That's why he was at the restaurant. And I said, okay, well, a 19-year-old or a 12-year-old is not going to go to a restaurant all by himself on his birthday, but an older gentleman might. So now he's an older gentleman in a restaurant on his birthday. And you just keep building like that, and eventually you have the character in the story of The Faceless Ones. And to find out more about them, you'll have to sign up for my newsletter, hint, hint, and get it for free.
That's really fascinating. I didn't know that that's how you built characters, and just by asking questions about them.
All of my stories are character-based, so I put a character in a spot and say, okay, what happens? Why is he there? What is he doing? What does he see? What does he think? What does he smell? And I just start building and building and building, and soon you have 150,000 words of rambling.
Well, that was all the questions we had here. Did you want to add anything else to that, or?
Well, I forgot to mention last week when I talked about all these great books I'm going to give away. I forgot to mention I have one poster left. Poster. Hey, look at it. Opened up right side up. A poster of Farron.
It's beautiful.
I can make more. This isn't the last one in existence, but I have one left to give away. So there will be a contest coming soon. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to do it. We're going to give these away. I'm also going to try to talk to Tessa. Tessa's the artist who drew this, not me. See if I can get her to sign a bunch. And then have a bunch signed by the real artist instead of me signing. It feels kind of lame when I sign this because I didn't make it. Get Tessa to sign a bunch and give them away. So watch for that. If you're on my newsletter, you'll probably find out, hint hint. And I will be giving away all those books I showed last week. I am not going to give away my iPhone. Next week we will have my first audiobook review. I'm going to review Bigger Magic by H.L. Burke. It's a middle grade fantasy, so watch for that. I just finished listening to it like 2 days ago, so it's still fresh in my mind. And then I will probably start doing some science stuff. People tell me I'm real good at taking really complex, stupid things and making them simple and easy to understand. And she may show up from time to time, you never know. She kind of hangs around a bit.